Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my very first POV review. Today we're going to be checking out this Renault Talisman from 2016. This car has a 1.5 DCI, that's a diesel with a 6-speed manual, as you can see here. So let's jump out, take a look at the car, and yeah, let's go for a drive after that. So let me quickly get out, pop the hood already, so you can see the beast. Right, so this is the car. It has 18-inch wheels. Boot is actually pretty big. You can see here, don't mind the mess, plenty of space. If we move up to the front of the car, we open the hood, find the latch. Yeah, there you go. That's the engine, 1.5. Now let's get back into the car, take her for a drive, and show you, what this thing is all about. I'll give you a bit of background information about the car as well. So let me just move out of this parking lot. All right, so like I said, 2016 Talisman from Renault. It's the biggest sedan they have in their lineup as of right now. It is, I think, going to get a refresh soon. Let me quickly brake here for the traffic. Right, and we're off. Yeah, like I said, 1.5 diesel with a 6-speed manual. Funny thing about this car, bit of background information, is that it is currently my company lease. I have been driving this car for about a year now, a little bit less than a year, and I've put about 30,000 kilometers on the clock of this car, and it's going to be leaving soon, which is, on the one hand, it's a bit of a shame because it's a nice car. Don't really want to see it leave, but on the other hand, it means that something else, something better, is going to come back for it, which I'm really excited about. But enough about that. Let's talk about the car a bit more. So right now it's done 140,000 kilometers on this 1.5. The 1.5 DCI, it's a quite common used engine by Renault. They have it in quite a few of their cars. And it ranges from, I think, like 60 or 70 horsepower up to 130, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, this car has 110 horsepower and about 270 newton meters of torque, which the torque for diesel, it's always bigger than it is on a petrol car. But considering the small size of the engine, only 110 brake horsepower and 270 newton meters of torque, it won't blow your face off, not at all actually. It's pretty slow. It does 0 to 100 kilometers or 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 11.5 seconds, which is, it's not really quick whatsoever, but in the traffic that I usually drive in, I live in the Netherlands, by the way, the 110 horsepower is plenty. There's cars with less, and like I said, it has plenty of torque, so you get to drive, you get to ride the torque wave basically, which makes a bit of difference. It feels quicker than it actually is, but only once you want to get it to about 100 kilometers an hour, you notice that it's lacking power. Considering the size of the car, like I said, the biggest one that Renault has in their lineup as of right now, it really would have, it would be better for it to have an automatic. There are some models that have this engine in combination with a, I think, 7-speed or 6-speed dual clutch transmission from Renault, the EDC they call it. But I've heard that the small engine and the automatic gearbox, they're not that great of a combination anyways. But this is the entry model So it has, as you just saw on the outside, it has the 18-inch wheels, which is an upgrade, which was applied afterwards. And it also has, as you can see when I look around, it has this caramel colored leather, which is, they added it afterwards. It does, I think, on a black car, it does suit it quite well. So except for the bigger wheels and the leather seats, this car is fully stock. With the car being stock, you actually do have, if I look down here, let me get to a straight part. If I look down here, you have this button, which is the multi-sense button. If you click through that, you can select the different drive modes. This car has 4 stock, 1 personal. I usually tend to drive in comfort most. Since the car is quite large, it makes the steering pretty light, gas response just gradual, and I tend to, I've driven this car in sport before as well, but you definitely notice that it's quite a big car. It actually doesn't weigh that much, it's only 1,350 kilograms. That's quite light for such a large car. However, it does, you do notice that when you want to chuck it into a corner, the suspension is really more made for comfort. When you change the drive modes, actually, these are electronically adjustable shock absorbers. So if you change the drive mode, you actually change a bit of the feel of the suspension. It doesn't make a lot of difference, but you do notice it a little bit when you're going over rough surface and you have it in sport. It feels a bit tighter than it does when you have it in comfort. So like I said, you have 4 drive modes, 5 drive modes actually. So comfort, I think I just explained. Eco, well, Eco is not one I really ever use. There is actually a dedicated button for it right here next to the start stop, which also usually gets switched off by me. Eco, don't use it, don't want to use it. It's it makes fuel consumption better. However, in the time that I've owned this car, I've done somewhere between either 4 liters per 100 kilometers or 5 liters per 100 kilometers. So let's have a check where it's at right now. Right now it's at 5, so that's still very decent. Even though I have quite a heavy right foot, I think you can say. Sport is it can be fun. Very heavy steering, gas response is as quick as it can be, and the fun thing is you also have in sports, or basically in every mode, I can turn on the engine sound design. I can make it sound like an Renault or Alpine A110, the old one. And I'll turn it up so you can hopefully hear it. The way it sounds kind of dumb, but well, you definitely notice that it's a cool feature to show your friends, but that's about it. I never have it on, but it's cool that, well, you can do it. You can show it to your friends. Hey, look, I can make my car sound like a very bad A110 because it doesn't resemble the sound that the car actually makes in A110. So back to drive mode, sport, then there's neutral. That's basically the drive mode that is between most of them. So it has the regular steering, the regular gas response. Basically is between all the other options. Personal, on the other hand, you can customize it. You can customize it to your likings, so you can change the steering, the drivetrain. You can change the responsiveness of it, and that's about it. Cool thing about this car is it actually also has massaging seats. I should say seat. If I click the button on the left side of my seat, I can turn on the massage. Now, what it basically is, it's just a motor running up and down the seat behind the cover, and you can feel it. It's fun. Sometimes it can be a bit more relaxing when you're going on longer journeys, but I hardly ever tend to use it actually. So, if you ask me, not really bothered with the option. I would much rather have something like heated seats instead of massaging seats, but whatever. It's a manual adjustable seat, this one, and yeah, that's pretty much the basis of the car. Now, traffic wise, today it's quite busy. It's a Friday, it's 5 o'clock, so people are ready to get home. They're heading home actually, and I'm almost at the spot where I want to drive like through some back roads, so hopefully we can open it up a bit, even though it's not that impressive, but yeah, you guys can hopefully see how she drives. So let me quickly drive to that spot and I'll cut back with you once I'm there. Alright guys, we are almost coming up to our back road spot. Let's hope these cars in front of us won't make the same turn as I did. What I'll do is I'll put it in sport. If I actually select sport, yeah, there you go. You can see the color of the dials changes, so red is sporty, right? So now we have about 15 extra horsepower by putting it in sport. All right, so let's hope these cars won't turn right, because we actually will. That's good. Okay, let's see how she drives here. Let me wait for the street from the right. Perfect. All right. Now, the car has most of its torque between 1750 RPM and 2250, I think, or 2500. Like I said, max torque is 270 Newton meters of torque, which you do notice. I mean, it's quite nice. Put it in sport now, and as long as you stay in its rev range, it can be fun to drive. You just do notice the length of the car. So not really made for taking it to some nice twisty back roads in the mountains or something to rip this thing. But good thing that I live in the Netherlands, and in the Netherlands we don't really have very twisty roads. It's mostly pretty much straight. So the route we're driving right now is part of my daily commute. Usually, I mean, I have the ability to drive through the main road, but I much rather drive through here because it's, it can make a bit of difference. Not really in time, but it does make a difference in driving feel. I much rather have the feeling that I'm going a lot quicker than when I'm stuck behind some old man driving too slow. Because if there's something I don't like, it's being stuck behind slow people. Okay, what's this? Someone walking their dog, someone on a scooter. People are probably going to be looking funny at me because I'm wearing a GoPro on my head. By the way, this is my, as you probably, well, or maybe not, as you've noticed, this is the first video on my channel, and also the first POV video on my channel. So the idea behind J Drives is that I'll be driving around some cars and reviewing them, basically. Simple concept, you'd say. Everything will be POV drives, so I think that's nice. Let's make it left here. Try not to hit a scooter. Yeah, like I said, POV drives. Now, this is my company car, like I said. However, I do get to drive some cool cars from time to time. In my spare time, I also do photography, so car photography. I have a customer which I've been in a good relationship with for these last couple of, I think, almost 2 years now. I've shot a lot of cars for him, for his website and his social media. Also for my own social media, of course. I'll put a link down below if you want to see my own socials. And I've driven some Fiat Abarths in the past. I've also driven an Audi RS3. Also managed to get my hands on an Alpine A110, the new one, which is really cool. It's a 1.8 turbo with 250 horsepower, I think. And that was a really cool experience. Very low in the car, flappy pedal gearbox. That was great fun. really chuckable. You can throw it into any corner. It makes the right sounds, even though it's just a 1.8 4-cylinder. But that's fine. I mean, can be fun, right? Lightweight and quick. It only weighs, I think, 1,000 kilos or something. So anyways, I hope to be bringing you guys a bit more exciting cars. If not, we will just start up by driving some regular cars, day-to-day cars that I see here in my village a lot, or in my village around my area, which can be everything from Audis to Renaults to Fords to BMWs, Mercedes, well, the whole lot basically. So expect some fun cars from time to time. For the remainder, we will just stick with regular cars, which can also be quite fun. Now let's cross this crossing. What a surprise. Okay, clear on the right, yeah, okay. As you can see, it gets up to speed nicely, considering it's a small engine, but around here, if you have 200 horsepower, it's actually considered to Dutch standards quite a lot. 200 horsepower is good. If you got a car with 200 horsepower, everyone is like, yeah, good on you, man, that thing is quick. Except for most new electric cars, of course. If you take a look at Teslas, for instance, or basically any other electric car, mostly the 0 to 60 is really quick, 0 to 100 kilometers. Which does change the cars that are driving around my country a bit. However, just the regular cars are usually all somewhere in the 10 seconds to 100. So don't expect that many quick cars around. It's quite a rare sight. Yesterday I was driving around a bit and I saw an RS6 from the previous generation in my street, which was, I got excited. And it's quite a popular car also around Europe, but also in the Netherlands. If you want a quick car with a lot of power, just a family saloon, you tend up buying an RS6 because it's an all-round nice car, I think. Never driven one myself, hopefully maybe one day, but we'll see about that. If so, I definitely hope to document it for you guys. Now the sun is slowly starting to set because it's almost 20 past 5. I think we're pretty much at the end of this part of the drive. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find a place to pull over, and yeah, we can end it off there basically. So let me find a quick spot to pull over. Alright guys, found a nice spot to pull over for a bit. Yeah, I just want to say thank you very much for watching my first drive. If you have any tips or comments you want to leave me, things that I might do different in the future, please do be sure to let me know. Always looking for feedback, definitely, because I'm still very new to this. If you enjoyed my drive, my talking, having a look at the car, also be sure to let me know. Give this video a like. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe, and hopefully till next time guys, have a good day and I'll talk to you in the next one.